If you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, or even if you're an expert, these are some things that you must avoid when it comes to pursuing YouTube. One of the biggest things is copyright. You want to make sure that when you're using other people's clips, you make sure you use it within fair use, and that is making it transformative content. And by transformative content, I mean adding your own spin to it, adding your own twist to it. Add a narration. Don't use too long of each clip. The rule of thumb is, once again, 10 to 13 seconds of a clip is kind of pushing it. So if you do anything under 10 seconds of a clip, you should be fine. But then again, it's not always a guarantee, but in general, you're fine. Another thing is avoid sexual or violent content. You don't want to upload anything sexual because you'll get the video demonetized. And when you every now and then when you post inappropriate content like super violent and like sexual content, that single video will get demonetized, but in turn your entire channel's RPM could significantly drop, because once there's a video on your channel that is inappropriate, but like let's say you have 100 videos, 99 of them are appropriate and one of them is inappropriate. YouTube will notice that one inappropriate video. They'll let you keep it up. They'll notice it though, and what they realize is YouTube will think like, okay, if there's this one inappropriate video on this channel, but we're promoting all 99 appropriate videos, there's a chance that the viewer can actually end up at the inappropriate video one way or another. With that thought process, your entire channel RPM could drop. And RPM, once again, is the amount you get per 1,000 views. So the goal is to keep that amount as high as possible, because for every view you get more money, obviously. But once again, avoid sexual content, avoid super violent content, gory, bloody, anything like that, try to avoid. And one of the other things is avoid excessive clickbait. You don't want to bullshit the clickbait. Like, there are a lot of videos on YouTube that are just incredible bullshit. The thumbnail is just something completely fake, but it still gets people to click. And in return, they like to comment things like clickbait, clickbait, clickbait. And when people comment things like clickbait or misleading thumbnail in the comment section, enough of those comments will triggers YouTube algorithm to kind of like have one of the YouTube workers come and actually check it out, see what's going on, because there's been so many comments within those parameters. And then there's a chance that they can demonetize the video or demonetize your channel or even give you a copyright strike. And that's something you definitely want to avoid, because imagine this. You build up a channel completely to like 100,000 subscribers, you're earning a good amount of money, then all of a sudden one greedy move where you wanted to make an excessive clickbait thumbnail cost you your entire channel. So definitely don't do that, and definitely try to avoid getting strikes, because if you get a strike, a good chance is a lot of your RPM will start dropping. And nobody wants low RPM. Nobody wants to drop an RPM. Nobody, obviously. And the last thing is avoid controversial topics. Now, this is kind of like a gray area. There's not so much said about it. But in general, avoid controversial topics like COVID-19. I mean, that's going on right now. Back in the day, I actually tried posting some videos about it, and they all got flagged, they all got removed, they all got like demonetized. And once again, once you get demonetized on a video, your entire channel RPM could drop. So that's a big no-no. And another thing you want to avoid is like certain things that you feel like are being covered up in the world, certain like topics that you just feel like are purposely being shunned by the entire world. Generally, you should avoid posting about. Now, I know it's kind of like the whole idea of like freedom of speech. I get to post what I want. But when it comes to the actual business end of things and you want to grow a YouTube channel and earn a lot of money from it, you want to avoid controversial topics or topics that in general seem kind of fishy. You know what I mean? Now, that being said, post as you please. I don't want to tell you exactly what you should or shouldn't post, but it's just the reason why you're here is to make money off of YouTube. So the best thing is just to avoid all of these things that I just said, or else you will end up getting into some issues in the future yourself. And I think that is about it. There's not much really to it other than just like be smart. Think about it. Like, is what I'm posting inappropriate? Is what I'm posting potentially going to cause some issues? And I'm kind of going back to that area that I talked about, like the gray area of controversial topics. There is something that is well known within the YouTube community, and it's called being shadow banned. It's like being kind of having your videos covered up and like not promoted without YouTube telling you anything. They'll just kind of like shadow ban you, which means like essentially your videos are like not being shown, not being promoted, nothing at all. And it's the goal of YouTube, if this is even a truly real thing, once again, this is a gray area. The goal of YouTube shadow banning your video is so like it not telling you is so you don't create a ruckus and say like, hey, why is my video not being promoted? But rather to think that to yourself like, oh, maybe it's the quality, maybe it's this, is that. But no, at the end of the day, shadow banning is real. It happens, and avoid it with avoiding controversial topics. Once again, super, super gray area. There's not much said about it, but it is definitely an area that has some sort of notice. Like people have noticed there's something kind of fishy going on. But yeah, avoid all the things I just said, and you should be golden. And once again, always try to focus on the high RPM niches.